Good evening. It is I, Ron. It is my pleasure to be with you in this evening. You had an interesting opportunity in the meditation, which you followed along. We hope that you enjoyed the experience and the knowledge that actually was imparted to you during this meditation. It is important to know who you truly are. That although you are in a physical body, you are truly spirit. And as spirit, you are made in the full image of God. And you have all the attributes of God. And you have all the powers of God. And these attributes and these powers work in your physical world. And it may not always seem so, but it may be because you are not using them properly. For it is important for you to know that you have these powers. And when you wish to have them used, you don't ask permission. You don't ask God to do things for you. But you affirm and know that the things that you wish to create, the things that you wish to do are done because you have the power to order the universe to act on your commands, so to speak, and create what you want to create in your life. It is harder for you to create your reality in the whole world. In other words, you have the power to create peace and harmony in your life. But you cannot force peace and harmony on the rest of the world. You can affirm that it arrives, that it comes, that people are inspired to peace, that they are inspired to harmony, that they are inspired to whatever you would like them to be inspired in, whatever way you would like them to do. But remember, they have free will. And because it is your wish, because you send them the ideas, because you make the demand of life, so to speak, or providence, or wherever, you will not be able to enforce it on other people. For you only have this power in your own life. But you can wish everything that you wish by affirming it, by knowing that it is coming to you and releasing it into the laws of creation. And so you can ask it to bring you peace. To say that I want to have peace in my life and to give thanks for it at the same time. I give thanks for the peace and harmony I have in my life. I give thanks for the great prosperity. I give thanks for my abundant good health. I give thanks for everything that you would like. And that is a very good way of sending the energy forward, for you are expressing that you are already receiving that which you wish to receive. And in a sense, you are, because peace and harmony are found within yourself. You make the choice in every day whether you are going to be peaceful with the situations that are around you and with the people that are near you and that you work with or that you live with, and whether you're going to be in harmony with them. It is your decision. And so you can create peace and harmony in your life by simply not getting upset at the words and actions of others, forgiving others, allowing them to be whomever they are, whether they are happy or unhappy, whether they are angry. These are their problems, not your problems. Keep centered on how you feel and how you react to things, for you have choices that you can make. You can choose to be peaceful no matter what is happening going on around you. You can also choose to be excited. That is up to you on what you wish to do. And so you do create the world in which you live by deciding how you will think and what actions you will take and how you will go about achieving all your goals and aspirations, and even what your goals and aspirations are. And then you can choose to take actions which might bring your goals and aspirations to you. Well, that is an important part of creating the life that you live and the life that you experience. You have to take the right actions, which will manifest that in your life. So it is fairly simple. You need to uh, forgive so that you can be in harmony. You need to work so that you can experience prosperity. And to know that prosperity is more than just money, but it's a combination of everything that is good in your life, that it is harmonious, that it is, you have an abundance of friendships, that you experience love, that you experience health. And if you are ill, you know that you will return to good health. And all these things can come to you through your wishes and your thoughts, your determinations, and knowing that you have that power. And so, therefore, when you wish it, when you desire it, and when you take actions to achieve it, that it manifests in your life. And that is the way you have the same powers of God. God created us all, and He allows us to manifest and create the lives that we choose to live. Know that is true of others who are around you. You create your life, they create their lives. They may not be working at peace and harmony, or prosperity, or happiness, or they may think their happiness comes from somewhere outside of themselves without realizing that it comes from their own decision to accept things as they are and decide that they are happy with whatever is happening in their lives. And so, now that you know yourself to be God in your life, I conclude this message in this evening. And I ask, are there any questions on what I've spoken about? Or if there are any other questions on any other subject you would like to ask? So I need someone with a question to speak up.
Rankar, this is Elizabeth. I was just wondering, do you channel through anyone else besides Norma?
I have channeled through others.
But do you pick the person, or what? How does that happen?
Thank you for that question. There must be a certain compatibility, both on the physical level, on the energetic level, and to a certain extent on the spiritual level. There are people who would wish to channel, but they may not be of such a vibration that I could speak through them. Indeed, the medium was channeling for quite a while before I was able to use her as a way of communication with the physical world. It took some time before she had the correct vibration, which allowed me to speak. So not anyone could I channel through. It must be a compatibility situation, a similar vibration. And so it is easy now. We have been in partnerships together on this session, on this type of endeavor for many, many years. I am not certain how many years, but it is in excess of 20 years. And so our compatibility is perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have one other question, if you don't mind. I wanted to know about people speak about their guides. I mean, I've asked to see who they are. I don't know who they are, but I was wondering, are they assigned or do they pick you to be your guide? How does that come about?
Generally, your guides are people that you have known in other lifetimes. They are, in effect, family members and friends. Probably that you have had many incarnations with your guides in various different ways. They could have been your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, just a best friend, or perhaps a spouse. But you have had lifetimes in which you shared at least part of your existence in the physical plane. And when it is decided, when you decide that you would like to enter into the earth plane, you would speak to your friends, and it is immediately known, in fact, since communication tends to be extremely instantaneous in the spirit world, since there is no need for words. All those with whom you have close relationships would know instantly that you have decided to incarnate, and perhaps already what time period and when you are incarnating, when it will be. And generally, then they offer or you ask, it does not matter which way it goes, but if people will help you through the new incarnation. And so, in general, you have someone who will help you with relationships and businesses type problems, and those are known as doctors of philosophy. You have someone who will help you with your health and try to balance you out on spiritual levels and many things, and that is, of course, your physician, doctor. You have someone who will endeavor to protect you, and he usually takes on, or she, but it usually then will take on a persona that is of a very strong person. Frequently, it has been in the past that they take on that of an American Indian or perhaps a strong African native, anyone that is conceived of as being a strong person, because they deal most often with the physical around your life. They will protect your homes, they will protect you, they will help you do things on the physical level. And so they need to have high energies and be very powerful. So the persona they adopt is one of being a very strong, physically fit person, and they may choose to any name that they wish to represent themselves. Um, Frequently, you have a joy guide. You always have a joy guide. That is Norma for the medium, and I refer to her as the little one, because they normally try to be helpful in ways that make you happy and take care of little details in your life, not big things. And they often portray themselves as children. Um, they may or may not have been a child of yours or a friend of yours in childhood or in another incarnation, but it is simply the persona that is utilized for the lifetime. And then there is always spirit, um, your spiritual guide. And so that one, of course, he tries to help you with your spiritual development and ethical understandings and questions like that. Of course, your doctor for philosophy will also help you with ethical situations that you may address in which you might need guidance. Remember, if you know the names of your guides, you can ask them specifically to help you, or if you do not know their names, it is not important, simply ask, and they will help you anyway. So that is how you come to have your guides. They are your friends, family members from past lives who are dedicating this time period, your time on earth, to you, so that they could not possibly incarnate in the same time period as you. They are your lifespan would be off limits to them, so to speak. They could come in right after you die, but they may or may not. It is not really important. But for your lifespan, whatever guides you have adopted or have agreed to be with you, they will not be able to incarnate. Now, to a certain extent, how you get through a lifetime, how well you do, reflects on them and their guidance. And so, if you should choose to walk a pathway in the physical world in which you do much harm to others, in which you are a thief or a murderer, or you are just totally unkind and not helpful to anyone, they don't have to stick around. They may decide to leave you and just leave you on their own because you are not progressing spiritually. And that is why they are there to help you. So that is your only caveat. Your guides may desert you if you have totally ignored their advice, their help, done things that are criminal. They would not be with you, and they might choose to leave you. Then they might come back to you, but they might choose to leave you also. If you were to reform and get on the right pathway, you may attract them back to yourself. I hope that is satisfactory. If you have another question, please ask.
I do. I just would like to know, I know you say the names aren't important, but is there a way to find out who they are?
Well, you can ask them for names, for their names. In other words, when you sit in meditation, you can say, Joy Guide, may I have your name? And see what name comes to you. The same thing for your doctor of philosophy or your medical doctor or your big Indian, your protector, or your spirit guide. And once again, the one who is in charge of your spiritual process. Spiritual progress, excuse me. And that guide probably will not have a doctor or Mr. in front of his name. You will simply get a name, such as mine, Monkar. For whatever you are maybe interested in, because I have developed this relationship with the medium, and we have spoken and helped many people over many, many years. I have always said, I am a guide to the circle and of anyone who comes to the circle. So you may call upon me, and I will try to be of assistance to you from my position in spirit. Are there other questions?
Hi, I would like to ask some questions about my son who's going through a tough time now. And he is very spiritual. Right now he's in Texas with his significant other and two little children of 3 and 10 months old. And his life is kind of right now in a shambles. And I was wondering how he could handle what's happening to him right now. I think I mentioned that his house was badly damaged while he was away, and the insurance company said they would take care of it. And then when they found out he was away, they canceled the policy. So he's got a lot of damage in his house. And I'm just wondering if they will change, their minds and help him, fix, rebuild the damaged home.
It is unlikely that they will change their minds. Perhaps your son could see an attorney and discuss whether it would be worthwhile to try to sue the insurance company to perform, as it was not his fault that he was not home when the big storm hit. There was no way that he could know that the big storm would hit and that he would have problems.
And it was during COVID as well. It was, you know, it was
Yes,
difficult.
it is possible, but he needs to consult an attorney considering that.
Yeah, I know he's very stubborn and wants to kind of do it on his own. He sent them a good presentation, but so far he hasn't heard from them.
Yes, well, as I said,
Mm.
he may need to retain an attorney who
Mhm.
will threaten with lawsuits. His presentation does not threaten the insurance company. They only do not want to spend the money.
Even though they said yes at first, and they were, well,
But then they found out he wasn't home, and they
and they
said
can do that,
they
right?
would
Yeah,
not cover it. They reversed their decision.
right.
So it will take an attorney
Mhm.
negotiating for your son in order, and possibly undoubtedly, they must threaten lawsuit.
Mm.
If the attorney feels that there is a reasonable chance that he can win the lawsuit, because I do not know the details of the policy, and you have to
Right.
read all the details of the policy. The insurance company frequently puts in wording such as an act of God. If it is an act of God, they are not responsible.
Mhm.
And it could have been canceled under such a wording that is there within the insurance policy.
Right.
And until you have someone who is knowledgeable in insurance law, then you will not have an answer to those questions.
Right. Okay, and then I did mention before about his relationship with the mother of the two little ones and how he's going through a rough patch. And I wonder if I could ask you if you think they'll make it as a couple. Mm.
That is the kind of question I prefer not to answer,
Okay.
because it is too indefinite at this point in time. There are many things to be worked through and many difficulties.
And there are children involved. Yeah.
Yes, and so there may be litigation over who has children, who keeps the children, who provides for the children. There are many questions in this to determine whether or not this will continue. And a lot of them will have to do with the dedication that your son, the love, let us put it that way, your son has for his significant other.
Mhm.
I do not know what the relationship is, whether they have formalized any agreements. All these things will have a bearing on what develops in this relationship. And if your son did not ask her to marry or make commitments or have any agreements with her as to child support, he may not have any rights in the case. Do you understand?
Yes.
And so this is a matter of determination, how much and how affection and love he has for her, as well as her affection and love for him.
Mhm.
So I cannot answer this for you. Although I know that you will not be making decisions and taking actions which will have any lasting effect on their relationship. And so you will not directly interfere. I still cannot answer that question for you on an ethical basis.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Are there other questions?
Ronkar, this is Soham.
Oh, Soham, yes. How are you?
Good. How are you, Rankar?
Good.
Rankar, I want to thank you for all your advice and guidance. So it looks like some companies of the companies I was interviewing with, the opportunity and the company that I like the most extended an offer of employment to me. Yes.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And so we'll probably finalize some details this week, and I plan to accept the offer. It provides it provides everything that I wanted. The combination of the work content, the flexibility to work remotely, without moving, and the compensation package is also extremely good. So everything is a great pack. Everything that I wanted has been delivered. As I affirmed.
Yes, very good. Yes. Affirmations work very well to move your life forward in the directions that you want. And knowing, of course, more than just the affirmations, but knowing that you're going to get what it is you want in your life and it is going to work out well for you.
Yes.
Send that message forth into the universe and you attract to yourself those vibrations and those situations that will assure your success.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. So I'm extremely happy about it, and I'm excited for the new opportunity. Is there any guidance that you would like to give that you think may help me?
Oh, at this point in time,
Yes.
I don't think you need any particular guidance or help.
Yes.
It will be the usual ways of starting with a new position, finding out exactly all the information that you need to know, adjusting and handling situations that might be slightly different than you expected,
Yes.
and to not let that upset you, and to continue to know that you will handle the job well and that everything will work out between you and your employer. If you keep the lines of communication open, it is very probable that you will be successful in your new job.
Okay. It's great to know.
Are there any other questions?
Okay, Rankar, thank you very much.
You are welcome. Are there any other questions from anyone else?
Yes, I remember you saying that time doesn't exist and everything is happening at the same time. Or
In
I
spirit,
guess in
time
spirit.
does not, in the
Okay,
spirit world, time does not exist.
Okay, then, but we could come here at any basic time period of the earth,
Yes, you
right?
can.
Okay, so we have a future. Well, to us, we have a future. But where is the earth going? I mean, from what I gather, we still have spirits that are young spirits that are still want to come back here and keep learning, and that's probably why things are so messed up on the earth, because they're all learning, and then you have older spirits as you go on. Well, this could go on forever. So is the future ever going to actually change because you keep getting new spirits coming? You know what I mean? You got new spirits which are gonna experiment and screw up and whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you are saying. Please understand that you are still assuming that time progresses and that incarnations follow along a timeline. In other words, you are in a physical world at this time in 2021. You will pass. Sometime in the future, we will not state a date, but we will say that in the next 20 years, you will pass. And that sometime after that, in 2070, we will say, you will decide to incarnate again. But that is not the way it is. you incarnate into the time period that most fits your need and your desire to demonstrate your abilities, to manifest your best self. So you pick time you may choose to integrate now as a new person, and then go back in history from now and integrate as an older person, an older spirit. So it is not a question of getting the earth to progress along a particular line that follows chronologically in time. So that is part of the reason you find things are mixed up. And just because people at some levels are spiritually advancing, at other levels they may not be. And it is how you define spiritual advancement. There are many people who think because someone is psychic that they are spiritually advanced. And this is not true. You all have psychic abilities. The person who is psychic may be simply more in touch with that because he can sense things that are not visible in your physical world, can sense situations and vibrations, and can pick up information from their spirit guides and things, and other people. Does not mean that they are spiritually advanced, and they could use their psychic abilities for things that are not spiritual. Such they may be good at picking lottery numbers, and they could win lots of money, but that does not mean that they will be happy or that they will be healthy.
They might be a little happy doing that.
Most people would be happy, yes. But it does not mean that they are spiritually advanced, that they are considerate people or loving or kind. You see, it doesn't mean any of those things. So when you are talking about people, remembering that this is your opportunity to create. So there are very many people on the earth with the desire to create music, to create art, to create literature. And, you know, the arts, all up and down of what types that you can imagine. And these are all methods of creation. And then there are the people who want to help, who want to serve others. And they come back and be doctors and nurses and clergy and people who help one another or try to help one another. And they serve one another. But outside of their profession, they still have the ability to be abusive and to be unkind to their family members. So we do not know. People have mixtures of everything in themselves. So there is not a chronological progression, is what I am mostly saying. And it would be nice to say that in another century, that people will be happier. We see changes currently going on in your country that are not indicative of bringing about greater happiness over the next century. They may even bring about more unhappiness in your country over the next 50 years. Probably they will bring about more unhappiness. But some people think that this is the right thing to do. So it is a learning problem. They don't always see things clearly. They do not act with thought. And so they can make very many bad decisions. So people were very much happier maybe 20 years ago. because they were more in harmony at that point in time. But there are people who think that things need to change so that they can be better. And they do not see that the optimum happiness may have been 20 years ago. They look outside themselves to be happy, and they say, well, people need to have medical care. Everybody needs to earn the same amount of money. But this does not give self-satisfaction. For your self-development and your self-satisfaction, you have to be able to pursue what you wish to pursue. So without freedom in your life, you may become very unhappy. This is the way it is. But with freedom, there always comes the possibility that things do not work out for you. But it is your decision and your life. So you are responsible for the world that you create for yourself. You should not try to create other people's worlds. You should allow them the freedom to create their own world, to work the way they want to work. Don't think that they will be happier because they have the same amount of money, that everyone has the same amount of money. That does not make people happy. That will make some people very unhappy, or they will not see that as justice. They will not see that as good, because they will work hard and they will earn no more than anyone else. And so they are not rewarded for their hard work. So why work hard? Why not relax and just take your money? Do what you need to do. But that often does not bring about self-satisfaction or happiness. It brings about frustration, yet again. So it all depends upon your thoughts and your perceptions on what is good, what makes you happy, and where you want to go, and whether you are being successful enough to feel happy. It's all in your mind.
Mm, okay. Well, I see why you can't predict the future now.
Yes.
'Cause all of us are just, I mean, I guess the earth is like a big playground for spirit, because you're just here at any time and any place you want to be to, like you said, improve yourself or experiment with whatever you want to learn. So
Yes, well, I mean, when they incarnate, it becomes their playground.
yes, yes,
And like all playground with children, you tend to have fights,
yes. And it's unpredictable.
and it's unpredictable. And friends can be friends for a while and then decide that, no, they're not my friend anymore.
Yep, yep.
And it is, as you have said, it is a playground in a sense. But most people incarnate and they have a goal in mind that they want to do, what they want to manifest in their life. Some people sometimes think of it as manifesting themselves, bringing about knowing yourself and growing in that way, which is one way of looking at it. But often people have a goal, desire to achieve something, whether it is to be happy, whether it is to be prosperous, whether it is to be super rich, to be powerful, to be able to tell people what they should do in order to be happy. There are many people who like to do that. And they think they know it all and provide the solution for your best results and your best interest.
Mhm.
And we know that they rarely are addressing what you truly want. They're merely addressing what they think you want or what they feel you should want. So there are, yes, it is very difficult with free will. And that is the main difficulty in predicting the future. Every person has free will to try to achieve what they want in life. Those who know and understand that it is all found within themselves work very hard at being satisfied in their lives by what surrounds them and what they are doing, for they know that brings their happiness. And when you are happy, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have $1 million, that you are extremely prosperous. It simply means that you look around you and you appreciate that which you see in your life. The relationships you have with people, you value the people, you love the people that are with you. You hope that they do well, you wish them well. You take the actions that you think are best for you and bring you happiness. If it is to take a day off and go to the beach and enjoy the water and the sunshine and the sand, then, and you can do that and afford to do it and still have enough money to do everything you want to do, well, that's happiness. And you have created it for yourself. If in doing such a thing, you do not have enough money to buy food the next week, well, then you have created your unhappiness because you looked at something that made you happy in the moment without thinking about your future and what you might need and making yourself happy in the future too. So you didn't compromise, or you spent more money than you thought. You create your own happiness or unhappiness, and that is important for you all to know. And to realize then that your life is your creation.
Okay, now I got one more. When you're when you're in spirit, does anybody before they come back down here even think about all the physical pain that they could go through when they get here, or can they actually say, I want to go into a life where I don't have any, which is probably impossible, when I don't have any physical pain?
Well, you could go into a life where potentially you do not have physical pain, but then you have free will, so there are always ways in which you might mess up that potential.
Oh, unwillingly.
Willingly mess up your potential to have a pain-free life. You could decide that, you wish to indulge in heavy athletic sports that stress your body. Well, that is going to likely result over time in pain to your body because you have stressed out your joints.
But you're having so much fun in the meantime.
Yes, but you have just destroyed your potential to not have any pain in your life.
Oh. Does anybody in spirit actually think about the physical pain that they went through when they were on Earth?
Oh, that is an excellent question. One moment, please. Let me give that some thought. I think in all probability, we do not consider whether we experience pain or we do not experience pain when we are entering the physical world. More often, emotional pain is difficult, more so than physical pain. And while if something goes wrong with the physical body, yes, it gives you physical pain. I do not believe that we consider that and try to find a better, more physically fit body.
Wow. Okay. I keep telling myself, when I get there, I got to remember this hurts.
Well, unfortunately, the physical body can experience pain, and you need to have feelings. You need to have the senses which enable you to experience physical pain, because these are clues about your body, either that you are harming your body in some way or that you have harmed your body in some way, and that you need to get medical attention in this day and age where you are speaking now, where there is an abundance of medical attention available in most places, not everywhere, but certainly within the United States where you are, there is generally medical attention available. And sometimes you may have to drive for it for a while, so it may not be convenient, but it is available. So it's just not something that you think about. The blessings, there are mixed blessings about the physical life. And that is, as you have said, you can experience physical pain. You can experience bliss. There are just so many things that can come. You certainly cannot have a life in which you would experience no physical pain. Although there are some bodies which do have a failing within them where their perception of physical pain does not exist. And they have many problems because they do not recognize when they are sick. They do not recognize when they have broken a bone. They do not recognize that something has happened which puts them in danger that needs to be taken care of. This is not a common thing, but it has been known to exist, that there are people who do not perceive pain. And as a result, they can cause many difficulties to their bodies.
Alrighty. I had a vague thought. Is it kind of like mother having the baby? You know, you go through the labor and it hurts, and then afterwards you kind of forget about it.
Yes, precisely.
Okay, but the next time you get pregnant, you say, "Well, wait a minute."
Now I have to go through labor and delivery again.
Again, yes.
And while the pregnancy may or may not be a problem, for some women have difficulties in their pregnancies that with much indigestion and cannot eat, or smells make them sick, or whatever. There are complications of the pregnancy. Yes, once it is all over, you can forget about those complications.
Mhm,
And all is well. But you need to, but they are what they are.
mhm. Alrighty. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Are there other questions? There is, yes.
I have questions for Dr. Benjamin or for you about my leg swelling, and advice, please check my body, what I have to do to just easy walking and forget about my leg.
One moment, please. I will see if I can be of assistance.
Okay, thank you.
I cannot see a cause in particular with your legs, but I would recommend you go see a regular medical doctor because what I am seeing, or what I believe, I perceive that seems to be going on in your body, is that it is almost as if there is an obstruction somewhere that is not making you sick to your stomach or other ways, but is having a blockage, which is causing your blood not to flow freely, which is what is happening. And the water leaks out of your blood into your skin, and it causes the swelling, and the swelling is painful to yourself. So I am not sure what the cause is or what to call it, but I recommend that you see a regular physician, a doctor that does more than a chiropractic, but can analyze your blood and look in your body, essentially with tests. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, I think you may need to avail yourself of that type of help.
Okay. Okay. I have to check my whole body, my blood.
Yes, let the doctor see your legs so that they will know that they are very painful, and they will know the most common causes of this, and look for the clues which will help them to give you a proper diagnosis.
Okay. Okay.
All right, thank you. Are there any
Thank you.
more questions?
I have a question. It's
Yes.
it's a little trite. I had a girlfriend over for dinner Sunday night, and we were just talking. She's very involved in her church, which is not the ISD, but it's nearby. And she's not seeing any man right now. She's single, not dating, and I'm not really either. And she was saying that all the people in the congregation basically are women. And it does seem that most of the spiritual studies, study groups, and things that you may go to that we are interested in are attended by women. Although many of the very prominent women do have husbands who are interested in the type of spirituality that they are involved with. But it seems even if you do spend time with someone that has no knowledge of any spiritual belief system, and you're just speaking, being yourself and about your own interests, they may come to see you as crazy, even if you haven't been particular about finding someone that it believes in and is interested in spirituality. It seems you have to be very careful what you say to someone that doesn't believe in it, but yet it's very hard to find men that do know of much about spirituality. Okay, thank you very much.
I'm not sure what your question is.
My question is, how do you find them, or like, how do you behave if you try to just not make that a condition with a man in my case and my girlfriend's case, but yet once you relax with them, you talk about things you're interested in, which may be spirituality, and the ideas are so foreign to them that they more than likely see you as deviant after a while. It seems like a conundrum. So the question is, how do you conduct your relationships? How do you find a companion?
Well, that is a very interesting question. I have never had that question before. As relationships are forming, as you say, you may not choose to speak of your spirituality, but you can choose to speak of it in terms of ethics. You might try thinking of that instead of discussing, we are talking about that you participate in an evening such as this, in which there is a person who is known as the channeler and spirit speaks through them. That would be a bit much to ask anyone to understand until they have investigated lesser phenomena. And you can always include discussions like that you were always interested in psychic phenomena, and whether or not you may be also interested in healing, and whether spiritual healing occurs, and you might introduce it in such way that to speak from a point of curiosity. And what's his opinion? Does he find these things? If you wish to bring this up with him, Of course, this might not be what you talk about on the first date, so to speak, but you can always ask if religion is important or religious beliefs. If they practice a religion, you can ask that. If they do not, then okay, you know where you're going from here. And then another time, you might confess your interest in psychic things, or your interest in healing, spiritual healing, or your interest in a lesser phase of metaphysics that might not seem threatening to someone. And it can be a conversation that just comes up now and then until you discover you either dislike the person or you like the person. And eventually, if it is someone that you like and you find them satisfactory to yourself in all ways, that they have ethical behavior, that they are kind, that they are patient, that they seem to have the rest of the characteristics you like, then you can always be honest and say that you have a very strong interest in metaphysics and that you pursue studies in which you try to understand basic laws and understanding of the universe, which are a little bit different from regular physics and regular biology, but they are still scientific in their own way. And so I believe this is how you need to progress on this subject. If you tell them all the details and they have not been exposed to it at all, well, then certainly they might come to the conclusion that you are crazy to believe have these thoughts and these things. But if you voice them as a curiosity on your part, it will not seem threatening. They may be surprised, but it is something that you're curious about. And that makes it an okay conversation. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. But after a while, when you're really trying not to think ahead about everything you're going to say, and you just relax and are yourself, more of your beliefs are bound to come out, especially if you've been studying something for 30 years. And that does mean that a lot of very unusual ideas are going to be presented. And so I'm not sure that they can take it any more then than they could at the beginning when you're trying to be careful and present it as a curiosity.
If they have grown affectionate with you to the point where they value the good qualities of yourself, your own ethics, your own kindness, and in other ways they are compatible, they may find it perfectly tolerable. Because the really important things for themselves are to have a person that accepts them and loves them. That is how people fall in love with you, is by loving them, and accepting them as they are is the key to loving them and having someone feel love. So by giving love, you are going to attract love back from people. And they may think that you're a little odd, but you're so nice in every other way. This little strange thing does not hurt them at all. It does not bother them, and it will be insignificant to them, because what they will love you for is the love, attention, acceptance that you give to them. Because everyone is selfish in their lives. They have to look out for what is best for them. That is as it should be. You should look out for what is best for you. So you are looking to find a good, kind person who is perhaps sensitive to your needs, has other things that you like, earns a decent living, because that needs to be part of it. And you can accept him as he is. He doesn't lie. He doesn't cheat. So he has many good qualities, and you can offer him your love. You can give him that acceptance and love. And you can love him whether or not he loves you back, because that's what love is about, wishing someone well, accepting them as they are. But the chances are that as you do that, they will want that love from you. And they will do what they need to do to get it, which means they may love you back. They will think that you are terrific and that this is what they want to have in their life all the time. A person who accepts them as they are and supports them in their goals and their wishes and their desires, and that in their good health and their way of being. And then it will all depend upon your love. The fact that you are into metaphysics, that you go talk to fortune tellers, or you speak to ghosts, or you associate with people who do these things, will not bother them. It will be just part of yourself, and maybe even become another reason that they think that you are special. So do not limit. To find love, all you need to do is give love. When you
That
give
was
love,
absolutely beautiful. Thank you so
Excuse me?
very, very much. You're absolutely right.
yes. So I wish you well. And I'm going to say goodnight now, because it is just about the end of our time together. And so I give you all my blessings. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, it's time for me to say goodnight too. I hope you have enjoyed the evening. I thank you for the questions. I'm sure you all found it to be a very interesting evening. And remember, I love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Night. Love you.
Dear Lord, we give thanks